ladies, get your fucking knickers off. Give up for the wonderful Robbie Bonham, thank you!
Hello, Edinburgh. Yeah, my name is Robbie, just for anyone who was thinking, Jesus Christ, Aragorn has let himself go. Then you're just thinking, Jesus Christ. There may even be those of you wondering how the fuck I got in past the doorstep. I just threw me sleeping bag at them and legged it. So somebody also told me the other day I look a little bit like a 1970s hunger striker who's not really trying. So, oh by the way, I am just filming this gig, so if there's anybody in the audience who doesn't want to be identified for whatever reason, you can get one of these off me if you just keep it up over your I've only 4 of them. Or if you prefer the whole blurred face thing. No, it's not. So, it's great to be over here. There's been something bugging me about Ireland for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's only when I got over here I think I put my finger on it. From what I can work out back in Ireland, there's been a drop in business amongst hairdressers. And what they seem to be... I didn't pause it, I'm just saying. What they seem to be doing, you know, in an effort to drum up business, I presume, they seem to be employing people just to walk around the streets of Ireland shouting out, "Here! Get a fucking haircut!" Every time I leave the house I hear it. I don't know who's paying them to add, "You fat little bastard!" I can only assume there's also a new gym open somewhere. Probably one of those 2-for-1 things or something, I have no idea. I get that quite a lot, you know, complete strangers come up to you all the time. "Here, mister, get a haircut." And you have to respond to that with the most offensive thing you can think of. You know, like, your mother fillets tramps or something. That goes over the heads of most 8-year-olds. It's better than letting them see you cry. I actually had an 8-year-old come up to me recently on the street and he went, "Here, mister, get a haircut." I shouted back, "Get a da." He went off crying. Oh, I hit a sore point. No, fuck him. He'll probably fucking stab me in about 4 years anyway, you know. Society we live in now. I'm just the messenger. So, I suppose that the best word to sum up my image is homeless. Which has its advantages. One, I always get a seat to myself on the bus or the train. And 2, I never get bothered by the homeless. Right. I get home with all my cigarettes still in their box, do you know what I mean? But have you ever noticed, by the way, what's this obsession homeless people have with tea? Is it the same here? Every time I hear them over in Ireland, it's always, "Do you have the price of a cup of tea? I'm just looking for 20 pence for a cup of tea. I'm trying to get a cup of tea together." I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm beginning to think it's the fucking tea that has them on the streets. And that is addictive shit, you know? Some poor bastard's lost everything. He's lost his wife, his home, his kids, his car. All he can think about is his next fix of tea. There's something that needs to be dumped into there. If you take that home with you tonight, don't do tea, kids. And just in case anybody thinks it's a bit bad slagging the homeless for a comedy show, I just want to point out to redress the balance, I do actually have friends who are genuinely homeless. I don't go around with them much. Unless I've been out in a bender, there might be the odd sleepover, but... I do me bid for them, like, I always buy big issue. I actually get it by subscription. Cuts out the middleman. It's fantastic. Just do me bid. I know, seriously, if anybody is genuinely offended, don't worry, it's Irish homeless I'm slagging. So, yeah. The downside to looking homeless is when you bump into ex-girlfriends. Like I bumped into an ex of mine a couple of months ago now, but I hadn't seen her in 13 or 14 years, and she still looks hot. And then she saw me. It was kind of, Jesus, Robbie, how have you been keeping since I last ripped your heart from your chest and smashed it to the ground? I'm not bitter or anything, just December 3rd, 1993. That was a lonely Christmas. I have to get over these things though. By the way, if anyone's wondering what a nervous breakdown actually looks like, oh, I find that hard. The only thing keeping me alive right at this minute, to be honest with you, is I just want to see how Lost ends. After 2010, somebody better keep an eye on me because I'll be a little bit jumpy. But I bumped into this ex, and she asked me, you know, what I've been up to since we last saw each other, and I did what most guys do, I made shit up. You have to, don't you? I had a brilliant life by all accounts. Yeah, I lived in the Congo for years, rescuing wild apes from hungry orphans. I don't know. I'm not that quick on my feet, I'll be honest. But then she started to tell me about her life. She started to tell me about this wonderful man she met and married, and he runs his own computer company, and they've a holiday home in Barbados and 2 kids and 2 cars and blah blah blah. It's all going over my head. The only thing going through my head the entire time she's talking to me is, I've had my willy in her mouth. I can only assume that's how all men think. Of course, what was probably going through her head at the exact same moment was, oh fuck, I've had that trans cock in my mouth. Swings and roundabouts. I only tell that story as a warning to any ladies in the room. Next time you have your chap's willy in your mouth, you go and break his heart, and he goes off on a 12-year bender, becomes very bitter and angry, eventually sobers up, takes up stand-up comedy and starts telling pubs full of strangers about it. Just be careful, that's all I'm saying. I think she should just be glad I didn't name her, do you know what I mean? Fuck it, it was Michelle Burke from Clontarf. Not like anyone here knows her. 32 baby-year-old. It's funny how the old addresses stay with you, isn't it? That's what makes me so good at stalking. But of course, now I've just blown any chances of getting offered oral sex by anyone here tonight, but I look after myself again as usual. Me back can handle it. The guys know what I mean, fuck off. Girls, every guy has tried to blow himself once in his life. But you have to know for definite that you can't do it. You know what I mean? You might just be sitting in the bath one night, Saturday night, no one else in. It's already bobbing halfway up to me, Jan. Fuck! That close. I used to be able to bite my own toenails. My totter's only half the distance. What's going on? Guys, I think you can do it if you believe it enough. It's that kind of thing, you know, it's like the first time you tried to move something just using the force. Unless you truly believe it, you'd be stuck there for days.
You can.
You can. You can suck your own cock. Personally, I wouldn't be in a comedy club on a Saturday night if I could. I'd just be down there all the time. One hand for tissues, the other hand for cheeseburgers. I could live forever. You know what I mean? But yeah. Fucking hell. So I do have a girlfriend actually, by the way. I know that might come as a surprise to some people, but there's hope for us all. I do have a girlfriend now, but there's nothing wrong with her. She's gorgeous, she's blonde, she's 19, I'm 37. I know 19 sounds a little bit young, but I just fancied a fling with someone much younger. I didn't think anything would actually ever come of it. Here we are still together after 5 years. I love the way you are chanting there as if, yeah, we love 14-year-olds too! Sick bastards. I was saying that as a joke. It's a funny story how we met. I couldn't feel it one day when I told her to get a dad. And I just, you know, had to do that. Yeah. I'll be your dad. No. It was a joke. My girlfriend is closer to my age, but I am 5 years with her. And there's a few things you learn after 5 years. The number one thing being that long-term relationships are a full-time fucking job. They're actually exactly like a job. Well, apart from the fact you're drunk for the interview, but otherwise. It occurred to me, wouldn't it be great if they were more like a job? Wouldn't it be great in a relationship, for instance, if you could just hand in 2 weeks' notice whenever you want? No fucking questions asked. You know, just go up there and go, listen babe, I'm finishing up with you Friday week. I got a much better offer, to be honest. Starting with her on the Monday. It'd be like the last 2 weeks in any job as well, like you try and steal as much shit as you can on the way out. I'll hide her iPod under my bed till Friday and she hasn't noticed it's gone, it's mine. Not bra. Because you need a keepsake. The other thing is after about 3 or 4 years, the nagging eventually becomes a background noise that you become able to zone out completely, and she needs to come up with more inventive nags for them to penetrate your nag force fields. Like, she nagged me last week about weird stuff, like stuff I refuse to use. You know, like dental floss and toothpaste and soap, deodorant, the right hole. You just have to zone it all out. You go fucking insane. Another thing as well is the routine you fall into. I'll give you an example. I don't drive, okay? But my girlfriend does, so every night she picks me up after a gig, drives me home. Same routine every night. Pull up outside the house, I lean across in the car, I kiss her goodnight, I go in, she fucks off home to her place. Same routine, unchanged for the last 3 or 4 years, till 4 nights ago, when her sister dropped me home. Now, I was tired. It had been a long gig, I was on automatic pilot if anything, and I found myself on total autopilot. I found myself leaning across. When we pulled up outside the house, I found myself leaning across in the car and managed to stop myself just after we both came. So, actually, can I just ask the women in the room, what's this double standard thing you ladies have? You know this women's prerogative nonsense, whereby basically women can get away with shit that men can't. You're like a woman, for instance, can change all your plans at the last minute. You might think you know, guys, what you're doing this Friday. You get to Friday and you find she's moved the fucking goalposts again to include a 4-hour visit to her parents or something. Guys, do you ever try doing that to your lady? Changing plans at the last minute? Fucking don't. You will never hear the end of it. They start whinging and slapping you on the chest and so, the church was booked and all our friends were coming from You just gotta learn to zone it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Robbie Bonham. Thanks a million for listening.